How you doing, guys? Professor EDC with another first impressions video, and we got a fixie. Love my fixed blades. And in this case, it's a Canadian custom knife. JWKnife and Tool.com. I have no idea the name of the model. It's something like Meridian 3.0, but I really can't read that. I do know that it's S90V. The HRC is 62, which is fantastic for that steel, as I've read. And well, this is a very, very interesting knife. So let's get to it, shall we? All right, we have that, let's go to the measurements, shall we? Or specs. 7.5 inches of length, full length. The blade is at 3.5. The cutting edge is just a hair under 3, like 2.9. which that's going to be perfect for many of you up in the States where the law says that you got to have a blade under 3 inches. So this is going to be perfect for that. Comes with this Kydex sheath, which that would be one of my hiccups. Of course, it all depends on taste. I do not like this camel, but beyond that, it's just too tight, and it reflects right there. Can you see that decoloration? That's due to the Kydex sheath. So every time you push it in really hard, pull it out, it rubs on the Kydex. So that's really well, not very well done, that Kydex sheath. And I loosened up a little bit the screws so as to see if it worked better, and no, it hasn't. But let's talk about the meat and potatoes of this S90V and G10. Love the orange, the size, the ergos are fantastic. I really, really like this knife. Let's go to some comparisons. That's our Sharpie number 2 pencil. A euro or 2 euros and a US quarter. Okay. How about, since it's Canadian, how about a boat? That's something I learned from back in the day when I lived in the States, from a Canadian friend I had, that different pronunciation in with those, well, we're talking about knives. A boat. So about these knives, I'm surely pronouncing it all wrong, but anyways, there you have it against the Buck 110, and I do that with all respect, okay? Just something that I like, those different accents from different countries. So with all respect, I did that, just to clear that up. The Huntsman and the Buck 110. So in size, you can see it's in between the Buck 110 and the Huntsman. The Rat 1 and the Rat 2. Again, in between, it's closer to the Rat 2 than to the Rat 1. How about overall thickness? It's not gonna stand up by itself. because it's thin. It really is kind of thin. But what can we say? It's S90V. Here's the PM2. A great steel. And the Benchmade bug out. Bug out. Okay, again. Professor. Behave. Oh, behave. Remember that? Oh, man. I had clown for breakfast. Anyways. There we go. And let's compare it to some other fixes, shall we? Known fixed blades. Here we have the SC3. High carbon steel. And, well, we have this at hand. The JWKnife F1, the original. So, smaller than both of these knives. But I want to mention, this is it's a saber grind, and it's a very, what is this? It's a drop point, but you can see a very high saber grind. This is a fantastic knife, and it comes down to a very, very thin edge. How thin? No problem with the cutting at all. So as an EDC knife, let's put this over here for compost. It really comes down to a spectacular thin edge, which reminds me, let's go to inches. Stock thickness 120 thousandths, and behind the edge it's not going to really 10 thousandths, and I absolutely believe that it's around that area, around that measurement. How about weight? I don't know much about this company. I do follow them on Instagram. 130 grams. How about if we do that in ounces? That's 4.61 ounces. So I do follow them on Instagram because of this knife that was lent for the channel and for me to sell it. And you know what? I'm really thinking of keeping it. The geometry is really something, and I do want to emphasize on that because it's rare that this geometry comes across my table. It's very thin. S90V, it's going to retain that that edge for quite some time. This is more of an EDC blade, I see it as. It's got this jimping, this kind of aggressive jimping. That's another thing that I don't know if this might be a better hunting knife. I'm not a hunter. But, you know, having such a thin blade, and we're talking thin, we're talking Jack Wolf thinness. Of course, this is a flat grind, but it's a spectacular flat grind. And we're talking about, yeah, that same thinness in a fixed blade, which I love that. I really love that. So I don't know. I don't know if this makes a better hunting knife, but I know I would certainly use it as an EDC blade, an urban EDC, and it's just fantastic, I think. So kudos to Canada. Kudos to JWKnife and Tool. Look them up in Instagram. No, I don't get any kickback or anything. This is just something that's coming across my table, lent from a friend and for sale in the channel. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't know the name of it. I will look for it later on, see if I can find it. But a fantastic EDC knife. The only thing, like I mentioned, just the jimping and the sheath, the Kydex sheath, and of course it didn't come with a clip, so that's another thing that this, as I was told, wasn't cheap. So should at least include a clip with that. But nonetheless, it is what it is, and it's a great knife in my opinion, for specific tasks, of course, but for the everyday urban life, this is fantastic. Professor EDC out.